that is found on a Singer 111 and the 211s. It's also found on several of the clones that are out there, as well as many of the other manufacturers, Consew, Pfaff. A lot of the older machines use this technology, which is really basic, but it can save your machine from some serious damage, especially when sewing heavier materials and you hit what I like to call bricks. Anyway, this is as it sits in the machine. It's on the lower side. This is your gear for your timing belt. Your timing belt goes in here. So normally when you tip the machine back, you would not see this exposed. This would be covered by a timing belt. You can actually do the adjustment I'm showing you with the timing belt on. However, it's a lot easier to do with the timing belt off, assuming you know how to get your machine back in time. Anyway, I'm going to go over a few of the parts. Here is the end view. And this is not the shaft out of a Singer machine. This is just a shaft of the same size with a flat spot on it. It was just more convenient to do it this way. You got the set screw that goes on the flat of the shaft here. You've got another set screw. You've got a series of metal curved pieces. You've got a hub that surrounds the shaft. And then you've got, this is your safety mechanism right here. When you hit something firm, originally these machines were designed to sew quite a bit of thickness, especially the ones with the walking foot, and it was common to hit something, and instead of the machines without these, you would tear up your you could strip your gears on your hook, you could break your hook, you could do a lot of damage, you can twist a shaft, you can do a number of things. This has prevented a lot of damage over the years and saved a lot of money. It is, however, important that it's adjusted correctly, so not only does it function, but you also don't want it kicking out every time you go up over a seam. So I'm going to show you how to adjust this. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you the individual pieces. I've got this a little bit loose. Take that loose. Take that loose. Okay, so this is how it sits on the machine. I'm going to leave it on the shaft so it's easier to get in there. This is the groove right here that corresponds with the device that moves back and forth when you hit a thick spot. The play in these, you can see right here, I'll get the angle for the light, the shine right here. That is the wear and tear of that hitting on both sides. So if you never adjust this, and then remember this machine was built in the early 60s, if you never adjust this, you're going to have play between your top and your bottom shafts, which throws off your hook timing. And it's one of the basic things that you need to do on the machines that have this in order to tighten the machine up. And it's easy to do. So I'm going to put this back in here, hopefully. Okay. So when your machine hits a thick spot, now normally your belt would drive and it turns this direction if you're looking at it from this, if you're sitting at where you sew, and you turn it this way with the hand wheel towards you to operate the machine. This is what actually drives the lower shaft, is this little tab right here in this little tapered V. When you hit something thick, the spring pressure on this actually pops out. Okay, that simulates hitting something, what I like to call bricks. So at that point, the lower shaft is stopped. Your pulley continues to drive, but it's not driving the lower shaft. So you've isolated your upper shaft from your lower shaft. Therefore, you're preventing, if the bottom shaft is jammed for some reason, you have prevented damage to your hook components, your gears, and stuff that costs a lot of money. So now you'll notice on this particular, and most of the ones that I have and I've used in the past, this is the lever here that re-engages this after you've hit a thick spot right here. Normally, and your machine may have this, there's a spring that holds this in tight, and all you have to do in order to re-engage your machine is to clear the jam out of wherever it may be, and then you turn your hand wheel over backwards this direction. A spring would hold that in that notch. You continue to rotate and it re-engages this and you're ready to go again. Now in the factory, I take these off because if an operator jams her machine and she knows that she can turn it over backwards and re-engage it, she may not have the problem solved, and she can make matters worse if she continues to sew and it keeps popping out. So I disconnect this, so it requires her to call a mechanic over to actually what I do is, and the way these work is I take a screwdriver and I actually hold it there, rotate the machine backwards, and then I pop it back in, and then I take care of whatever caused it to pop out in the first place. So to get the slack out of this thing, it's fairly simple. And right now you'll see, if you look at this, we'll see how close I can get. There's a lot of play in that. Okay, that's going to transmit down to your hook, and you can tighten up the gears, you can do all this stuff, and you're still going to have this play right here unless you adjust this. Now I know some comments I've heard, and I've read it myself in the Singer manuals, is that it's factory set. Well, I'm sorry, but if that has been rocking since the 60s, you're going to get some wear in there, and it's going to be tightened up. And this is the adjustment screw right here. You can see the path. This is the screw that actually adjusts the play out of that, and the set screw for that is here, and normally it would be covered by the belt and you wouldn't see it. You can slide the belt off to about here and then get to it with a screwdriver. I don't recommend lifting the belt up this way to get to it because you're going to stretch your belt or possibly tear it. So you want to slide the belt off this way just enough to expose that screw. So you loosen that up, take a screwdriver, and you'll see as I adjust this screw is on an eccentric, and I'll just rotate it, okay, until it's snug. It'll still pop out if the machine gets stuck, but it's snug. And then I'll come back over here and I'll tighten that down. Now if I go back and check, okay, now I have no in play in that at all. And when you can no longer get this play out of here, it's time to replace this piece. They used to sell this piece and this piece separately. You can still find them in certain suppliers. I have no idea why this particular gear was out of a machine. It just happened to be in the parts store, so it was easy to show you guys. So that's really all there is to it. Now that's nice and tight on there and you don't have any play. That's about it.